Do you want a one-sheet wonder in metric measurements with non-American paper? International friends, this one is especially for you, but American friends, this cute paper is still available stateside. Hi, I'm Jess from jesscrafts.com, and I'm going to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time, so let's get started. Today, I am using this Hey Gnomie paper pad from Paper Rose. That is an Australian company. The paper is produced in Australia and it is in the A5 size, which is, as far as I understand, a more non-US size. And so I get a lot of internationals who like the one-sheet wonders but maybe can't find the same size paper pads, like 6x8. This is very close to the American 6x8 paper pads, but it's a little bit different. And so my one-sheet wonders can sometimes be difficult to translate. So I decided today I would use A5 paper and I would make A6 cards because from what I could tell, that is a very common non-American size that people like to use. Although a lot of people still make A2 cards because that's what a lot of crafting stuff has. But if you make A2 or A6, most of my one-sheet wonders will work for you. But if you can't get that 6x8 or 6x6 or, those American standard size papers, this one is, like I said, especially for you. I'm going to make an A6 card, which is on the front 10.5 by 14.85 centimeters, and from the A5 paper. The template, which is just like all my other one-sheet wonders, available for download over at my website. It is all in centimeters. Now, this was a little bit tricky for me, not because centimeters are tricky for me, because centimeters are actually a lot easier overall, but my paper trimmer only has centimeters marked in a kind of odd spot, and in between each centimeter, instead of marking each millimeter, they mark every 2 millimeters. So not only is my paper not long enough to go to the part of the paper trimmer where the millimeters and centimeters are marked, but they're not marked in the most intuitive way, because to me it would be every millimeter. Regardless, I made it work. I had to use a ruler at some points in time, but I'm hoping if you're preferring metric measurements that your trimmer will not have these problems. And that hopefully, and I tried to keep my measurements kind of round in the sense of like as much as possible choosing a half centimeter or a full centimeter in the measurements. And instead of doing a 1/4 inch bigger, I did a half a centimeter bigger for the mats because to me that was a very similar size. And again, hopefully that works out for you guys. This particular paper pad had many, many sheets where you could not change the direction. There was a clear top and bottom. And this particular sketch, my very first one, does require you to turn the paper on its side. And so that's why I chose maybe one of the more like boring pieces of pattern paper from the collection. However, I'm going to try to make note of that. And the next one I'm going to share takes advantage of this clearly vertical pattern paper. What I love about this pattern paper pack, and I don't see as often in American paper packs, is it came with a sheet of sentiments and a sheet of images that you could cut apart. That reminds me of the P13 paper, which comes with things you can cut apart, but that's another non-American. That's a Polish brand of paper. So I cut the sentiment from their collection. It has more sentiments than you could probably even use in making all the cards, and a ton of the little gnomes and different images to cut out. I did just the gnomes today because they're just adorable. I'm not as into the gnome trend as some people. I know some people really, really love it. I think they're cute, but I did want to incorporate them in the card because that is the main sort of theme of this particular pattern paper pack. This pattern paper pack is great if you want to send Valentine's Day cards, but is not like overly Valentine-y. There's like hearts all over and it has a lot of red in it, but it also has a lot of blue, and most of the sentiments are not Valentine specific. In fact, there's a lot of thanks and birthday and other things. And I did matte everything, including my sentiment, on some navy cardstock just to kind of keep everything cohesive, and I thought it actually helped that more plain pink paper stand out a bit. I'm going to put a little bit of scrap behind this one. Instead of foam tape, I usually, and many of you know this if you've watched my videos, I usually take extra layers of cardstock and I double them up, or I take little pieces of cardboard that I've gotten in packaging and that kind of thing, and I glue it behind instead. For gluing little things like this, Barely Art glue is my favorite because it's refillable, but I use my ATG for more of like the bigger things, like if I'm gluing paper to paper. And it's a little bit easier to pull up. If you found this video inspiring, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video!